Hello everyone. Quite a few people have asked me to prepare a presentation on a step-by-step way to create a PR application after you have received your PNP nomination. So in this particular presentation, I'm just going to do that. So follow along and pause wherever you need to do that. This could be a longer video, but I think it will be of some value. So for this particular presentation, I will take an example of a person who is nominated under a Alberta PNP stream. And for this presentation, I'm taking the example of AOS. So say you are a person who has already been nominated under AOS. So congratulations, number one. Number two, you would come to the Alberta Opportunity Stream page. All the information that you need is out there. You just have to look. Come to the main landing page of AOS, and here there is a section called Alberta Opportunity Stream after you are nominated. Click here. Click here. This will take you to a page where it will have a lot of information, a lot of useful information for you. So make sure you spend some time and read through this information. This information will help you in a good way. So go to this information. This talks about reviewing your nomination package, which is nothing but checking whether your certificate is correct or not, details on the certificates are correct or not. If you have any questions, email to this particular ID and other information. Next, it asks you to get your permanent residence application ready, which is nothing but preparing yourself for doing the application, collecting the fees and collecting all the documents and all the other good details. So I hope you have all the documents ready that you need for permanent residence application. If you go to these particular links, you will have more information on what documentation is needed. This particular presentation, I will concentrate on the application process. So here you would see there is a link for apply online. Click here. It will take you to the permanent residence portal. Now I'm assuming that since you are doing it for the first time, you don't have an account in your permanent residence. So scroll down all the way below and click on create account. Here you will do a very simple account creation. Provide your email ID, passwords, follow the guidance for password, accept terms and conditions, and click on create account. Again, this is such a easy step. I'm not even going to show you how to do it. This is very self-explanatory. If you are able to watch this video, I'm very sure you can complete this step without any assistance. Go ahead and create your account. Once your account is created, log into that account. I have already logged into this account. So log into the account and it will ask you, the first question is, select the program under which you are applying. So click here. There are two options, permanent residence and PR card renewal. You are applying for permanent residence and that is why you are watching this video. So click on permanent residence. It will show up some additional questions. We will answer those questions step by step. So select a program under which you are applying. All PNP, all PR applications are an economic program. So select economic. Select the category. In our example, we are taking somebody who is already nominated for Alberta PNP. So we will select PNP. Now, if you got your nomination under a different program, which is here, then select that. If not, if you got it under any of the streams of PNP, just select PNP. This is applicable for nominations for all the provinces. So select PNP. Next, customize your application title. You can provide a application title like say AOS. Okay. You got your nomination under AOS, put an application title which you can relate to. So now your application is successfully started. So that was the first step of your process. You started your application. In the next few information, you will see information which are very self-explanatory. So I will go through that step by step. Select your preferred language of correspondence. It asks for your family name, date of birth, address, and whether your residence is same as your mailing address. If you want to add any of your dependents, add your dependents, save your dependent, and then save and continue. So very simple process. I hope you won't need assistance in this particular section. So fill up this full form and we will now go to the next step. If you want to add your dependent, click on add dependent. It will ask whether the dependent would be accompanying you. You would say yes. You would say your relationship to the principal applicant. So say it's spouse, and then the name of the dependent. Once you have entered the details of the dependent, click on Save Details. So now I have just created a first step, completed the first step, where I have provided the details of the application, my name, date of birth, my address, and my dependents. Now I'm done. I'll click on Save and Continue. Let's see what comes next. Okay, before starting your application, review all these documents. Review your eligibility criteria, application guide, and your document checklist. I would say document checklist is the most important document that you should check, right? We will go through the different forms, but this is for your information. While filling up the form, if you have any questions, you can come and click on any of these details. Okay, now let's go into the individual form. So there would be 4 IMM forms. So 008, 5406, 5699 and 5562. Once you do these particular forms, you will have to provide a form for the provincial nomination, right? So all these information, and then there were additional application forms which you will have to submit. So let's go through individual forms step by step. So you would say, for example, we'll start with IMM008. You will click on edit, and it will tell you about this particular form. This form will contain your basic information, and click on continue. Once you click on continue, it will have asked a lot of questions. So the first part of IMM008 is your application details, where you will enter your language of correspondence, your language of interview if required, if you need any interpreter, and where do you plan to live in Canada. If you have received your nomination and under Alberta, you will select a Alberta city or town. Okay, so this is the first section. Click on Save and Continue. So second section of the form contains your personal details, your family details, your UCI, your physical characteristics, your gender, eye color, height, date of birth, place of birth, citizenship, from which country, your current residence, and then your status in your current residence. So I'm assuming you're already staying in Canada as a worker, and put in your work permit details here. Date and place of your last entry of Canada. This can be found from your passport. Have you resided in previous countries in the past 5 years? If yes, then yes. If no, then no. I am assuming for this particular person is staying in Canada for last 6 years. So say no. Then enter your marital and relationship status, your marital status, your date of marriage, your spouse name, date of birth, and whether you have been previously married or not. So once you enter all the information, this Save and Continue button will become enabled. You just click on Save and Continue. Okay, if you need to go back to the section, pause this video, go a bit back and see all the details that I have entered. Click on Save and Continue. Then comes the third page. This page contains the contact information. Address would be taken from your earlier entry. Your residential address is same as your mailing address. If not, then provide that information. Put your phone number. If you have more than one phone numbers, put those phone numbers or fax numbers here. And then, do you want us to contact you using email address? Email is always a safe and proper way of communicating with the authorities. So click on yes and click Save and Continue. Next section is your passport information. Click on passport information and it will ask you whether you have a valid passport or not. Click yes. Put your passport number, your passport issue country, and your passport issue and expiry date. Save. Next section is on national identity document. If you have belonged to a country which issues national identity document, click on yes and provide the details. If not, click on no. In this particular example, since I am a citizen of India, I don't have a national identity document. Please, Aadhaar and those documents are not national identity document. Okay, people from India will understand what I'm talking about. But for any other country, like for example, I know Sri Lanka has a national identity document. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If you have that kind of document, say yes and then enter that. Otherwise, click on no and just save and continue. Next section is for your education and occupation. Here they would ask you your highest level of education, total numbers of years of education, your current occupation and your intended occupation. These information, obviously, since you have already got your PNP nomination, you know what your current occupation is and what your intended occupation is. Again, take this information from your offer letter. Don't copy from the NOC. Okay. Put your current occupation and your intended occupation as documented in your offer letter. Once you have entered this, click on save and continue. Next section is your language detail. Here you will provide what is your native language or your mother tongue, your ability to communicate in English or French or both. So select whatever is applicable to you. And obviously you have taken a language test, which is mandatory for most of the streams. So have you taken a test? Then you would say yes and say continue. The last section of this form is your dependents. Here, these dependents would come from your earlier application. If it says missing information, just click on edit and complete the information. So again, once you click on edit information for dependents, you will have to enter these details for your dependents again. Okay, so follow the same steps to enter the details of your dependents. Some information would already be available, otherwise enter the information. So you will enter all the personal details of your dependent. Again, make sure this is the details of your dependent. So like UCI numbers, gender, height, all the information is for your dependent. Okay, for your spouse, say for example. So you would enter all the details and then click on save and continue. Next section for your dependents will ask for his or her education and occupation details. This information is best available to you. So click on your highest level of education, number of years of education and intended occupation and current occupation. If say for example your wife is a homemaker, just put homemaker. If she's going to work somewhere, if you know that her occupation or her intended occupation, put on that info. Put information that you have available to you. Be honest in doing an application. Then click on continue. Next, enter the language details, very similar to what you have entered for yourself. Your native language, your communication language, and whether you have taken a test. Here I'm assuming you didn't need to get a test for your spouse for any extra point. So just say no or yes. If you have there, say by all means say yes. And then click on continue. Next section for your dependents is their passport details. Very similar to what you have entered for yourself. Your passport document number, country of issue, issue date. Very simple, no rocket science. Click on continue. National identity document is the same as was applicable to you. In this example, I'm saying no, but if your spouse has a national identity document or your country issues a national identity document, say yes and enter the details. If you say yes, it will ask for some more details like here, right? But if not, say no and click on save and continue. This will bring back to you the original IMM008 form. this is complete. This form is now complete. All the sections for you are complete. All the sections for your dependents are complete. You will say complete and return to application. This is the completion of one form of your PR application IMM008. Now we will go to the next application 5406. Okay, so here it asks for additional family information. So just click on edit. Here this form will ask information about your parent, children, spouse and siblings. Make sure obviously you have all the information for yourself and your spouse. Click on edit under your name. So the first section of IMM5406 form is your relationship. So you will enter your relationship details, your email, your address, your spouse details, your mother details and your father's detail. Very easy, no rocket science. I've just entered some dummy values. Obviously don't copy it from the screen that you're seeing. Enter your father's address and everything. Okay, enter your parents' detail. Goes without saying, but still. So I hope this section is very clear. I don't need to expand more on this. Once you have entered this, click on save and continue. Next section is about children. If you have your children, then enter those details. In this example, I'm assuming no children. Very simple to fill up. The relationship with your child, their name, their date of birth, their marital status, their email address. This doesn't talk about dependent or non-dependent children. This just talks about your children. So enter those details and click. If you have more than one children, click on add another. In this example, I'm assuming no children. So just click this and save and continue. It will now take you to a siblings page where if you have your siblings, including your half and step siblings, enter your siblings details. If you don't have siblings, just leave the section blank and continue. In this particular example, I'm assuming no siblings, so save and continue. Done. No other information is required. Do the same for your wife, right? So if you would click here and enter the details, so similar details to yourself that you had entered. Enter the same information for your spouse, where section A is her details, her spouse details, which is your details, and her mother and father's detail. Okay, enter that details here. I have already covered this in the section of the primary applicant. Just repeat that kind of information. Obviously her mother and her father details would be different, so enter those details. Their address would be different. Once you are done, click on save and continue. Same thing with children. If you have entered children, enter the children details here. If you have more than one children, click on add children, add another. If not, just click on save and continue. And same with siblings. So very simple information, I would say. Once you have done these information, come back to this particular form and complete the application. This would complete your second form, which is 5406. Okay, now let's do a 5669 form. Click on edit, and this is a background declaration. Okay, so here they would need information about your education, your memberships, any kind of criminal history, military service, and your addresses. So make sure you have all those details ready for you. So click on here. You are doing yourself, also personal. In this particular section, you will enter your personal details, which is basically your name. The one important thing here is you will have to enter your name in your native language or script. So how would you do that? Just Google your name in your native language script and just copy paste from there, right? So like for example, here I took an example in my native language, which is Hindi. So enter that. Okay, then enter your date of birth, then enter the personal details of your father, then personal details of your mother. Again, not rocket science information, and then click save and continue. Okay, next there are some declarations that you will have to do. So read through all the declarations and say no or yes as applicable to you. If not, just keep on clicking and say and go to the next section. Okay. Next, you will enter the education details. So here, enter your primary school name, high school name, college name, any kind of trade school or post-secondary school that you have done. Enter the date range of your education, of your secondary and post-secondary education, including university, college. So for each of your educations, put the name of your education and then put the certificate or diploma that was issued. Obviously, you will need to add multiple education. So just click on add another and add all your education from your secondary level. So secondary, post-secondary, university, college, everything. Okay, so class 10, class 12, college, if you have done masters. Enter all the details and click on save and continue. Next section comes to personal history. Here in personal history, you will have to enter the details of your personal history for the past 10 years or since your 18th birthday. So say for example, right now you're 40. So you will enter details of your last 10 years. So from last 10 years, you will basically have to say where you were living and what you were doing. So say for example, I will enter details of my last 6 years like this. Whatever I was doing in the last 6 years. Obviously, I need to add 4 more years. So I will just click on add another and enter the details what I was doing in my last 4 years more. Enter your personal details. Nothing alarming. Obviously, you should have your information. So click on save and continue. If you are a member of any association or organization, click on membership details. Which organization you are part of and what type of organization is it. Is it an educational institute or a student organization or a trade union or a professional association? Whatever memberships you have, enter this particular membership, all the details, and then click on save and continue. Next, information talks about your government positions. So if you have held any kind of government positions, enter those details, like what kind of level you were holding that government position, what activity you were doing, and what positions you held in that particular position. Okay, so enter all the details for yourself. Okay, save and continue. Next is your military and paramilitary service. If you have served in military or paramilitary, obviously enter those details and save and continue. Next is your residence history. So you will have to enter your residence history for the past 10 years, similar to your personal history. So enter the addresses for your past 10 years. Okay. So your address, your current address is already showing here. If you have more than that, then click on add another. And then once you have entered all your address details, click on save and continue. Enter the same details for your wife. I will not go through into the same sections again and again. So once you have entered the details for yourself and your wife will also have a similar section, right? All the sections that we have just seen. Enter all the sections, enter all the details, and click on save and continue. Once you have completed this section for yourself and your wife, come to complete and return to applicant. This will complete your third form, which is 5669. Now let us do the last of the application form, which is IMM008 Here they are asking for your travel details. So click open that particular form and you must complete all sections, and this includes your travel details in the last 10 years for your tourism, business, training, or any other reason. Click continue. So this is your information. This is for your principal applicant. You provide your name, your travel dates, your travel trips, and save and continue. Do the same thing for your spouse. provide the travel details in the last 10 years, and if they did not travel, I think there is a section here which says did not travel, but if they traveled, click yes, save, and continue. Also, if you have multiple travels, obviously you can click on add another and add multiple travel trips, and do the same for your dependent children for you. So if you have multiple children, enter the travel dates of your children. Okay, once you are done this, your form is complete. Your fourth form, IMM008 is complete. So these are the 4 digital forms that you would need to submit. Although IMM008 doesn't say required, but if you have travel details, it's obviously better to submit those information, right? So after you have filled up all your digital application forms, the next section is for the PDF forms. Come to this section, and this section has 2 documents. One section is basically your Schedule 4 form, and then there is one checklist. So click on these downloads. It will open up a link, and from this link you can download a document, a PDF document, which you can then fill up and then upload. Okay, so I'll just take you quickly through these documents. So let's first go through the Schedule 4 document, which I downloaded from here and which looks like this. Okay, so this is a Schedule 4 document, just a 1-page document. Here you are providing your name, your date of birth, which provincial government has nominated you, and under which category. So for example, if you are nominated for Alberta Opportunity Stream, so which provincial government has nominated you, you will say Alberta, and the stream and category you will say Alberta Opportunity Stream. The amount of funds that would be available to you. For funds, go through the details of the program on how much funds is required by that particular program. Okay, then you would do a declaration, date, and sign this document. You will sign this document, basically take a printout, fill up whatever is possible, right? Then print the form, then sign it, scan it, and then upload it to the portal. So you would come here and click on upload, and here you will upload the signed form. IMM008 is nothing but a checklist. This is the checklist. So you will go here and basically check off all the documents that you have submitted. Like for example, generic application form, this was done online, right? We just did it here. If you see here, these are the 4 forms: 008, 5406, 5669, and 5562. You will basically just check off these forms that yes, you have filled up these forms. Schedule 4 is the form that we just filled up, so you would say yes on this particular form also. Additional family information we filled up, which was 5406, so you would say yes on that. If you are using any kind of representative, or if you need to provide any additional form, then use additional documentation, which is here. Where will you upload these documents? You will upload it here. So for example, here you will search here, say for example representative. So if you are using say representative, you will click on use a representative and then download a form similar to what we have done here. Download this particular form and upload the signed copy. Okay, so do the same thing for any of the forms. So here you will form a lot of documents which might or might not be required. Go through the checklist, and then this will give you a better idea. Okay, say for example, if you are not uploading this, then just uncheck it, right? Then comes your documents. These documents should be there with you because you have already done your PNP nomination. Most of these documents are there with you. Okay, so travel documents and passports, self-explanatory. You will upload the document. Where will you upload the document? Just check how you should scan the document. It should clearly show what details. It's all out here. Prepare your documents and then come down, and then here are all the documents you need to upload. Save it in PDF. There is a naming convention that you can use, which are here, right? So upload these kind of naming convention, use this kind of naming convention, make sure of the size and the format of the documentation, and then upload these documentation, right? Very self-explanatory. I don't need to tell you how to name or not name your documents. Very easy. Travel documents and passports, upload and click check here. Confirmation of nomination. This is your nomination certificate. You will go and upload it here. Okay, this will be a PDF document that province has provided you. Identity and civil documents. So any kind of birth certificate, marriage certificate, national IDs, any kind of form, any kind of identity and civil status document, you will upload it here. Okay, now if you have a common law partner, complete the included statutory common law union 5409, right, and provide evidence that you cohabited with a partner for the 12 months, right? So 5409 has to be submitted. So where you will find 5409, I'll just show you. So where will you find this 5409 document? This 5409 document, I'll show you. You come here on this particular section, type 5409, and then you will see statutory declaration of common law temporary and permanent residence. So you will download this form again and upload this particular form. Okay, let's download this form and see what is there in that form. So this is the 5409 form, again a one-page document. Most of the information are there, and then here you are basically giving a self-declaration, right? So these are the evidence that you cohabited in this. So fill up the form to the section to the extent possible, download it, sign it, scan it, and then upload it to the portal. You will upload it to the portal. Okay. Next, let's look at the checklist. Children's information, again, not a very difficult information to get. Police certificates and clearance, photos, and then the fees, right? So all these information would be uploaded here. So photos are uploaded here, birth certificates are uploaded here, and all the documents are uploaded here. If you have any other kind of document, like for example identity and civil documents, like the one that we just did, you will upload the status here, like for example marriage certificates and things like that, right? If you have any kind of language proficiency documents, you will upload it here. If you have any kind of affidavit or proof of physical presence in Canada, any other documents, children birth certificate, see, so all the documents that you need to upload, make sure you find it here and then upload it. Like say, for example marriage certificate, if you have a national identity card, you will upload all the documents here, like proof of education, proof of funds. All the documents will go here. Add the documents to the list, upload the document, and then save it. Okay. Proof of payment. First, after you have done all the documentation, you will do the payment of fees. So you will have to pay your fees. So click on this particular link. It will take you to the payment of fees page. Depending on your family size, you will pay the fees here. Once you pay the fees here, you will get a documentation and then upload that documentation here, right? So choose your fee. Say for example you are doing permanent residence and you are paying for yes permanent residence, you will say continue, and then you will get the fees, right? So right of permanent fees. So this is the total this is how you will get the number of amount of the fees. So you will get the fees document and then you will upload that proof of fee here. Next comes declaration. This form will act as a digital signature. You will click on the start form. You are basically giving few declarations here that you are the primary applicant, you are consenting to release of application, your details, any kind of details. You will sign your documentation, okay, and then click on complete. So this will serve as your digital signature. So you will complete the declaration also. So let's see what else is remaining in this particular form. You have done the fees, you have done the declaration, you are now ready to submit, and everything is ready. right? So obviously once you complete all the sections, like right now I have not uploaded the documents here, that's why it's not letting me complete the form. But once I have completed the thing, I can click on submit your application. Submit your application will become enabled once you have completed all the sections, uploaded all the documents, and then you are set. Okay. So I hope this particular presentation, I understand being a very long presentation, but again, it's expected to be long because of so many sections of it. We have covered all the sections. We covered the sections on the application forms. We covered the section on the PDF forms, which you need to download and upload. Then any kind of additional application that we covered, any kind of additional kind of documentation, all kind of supporting documents, any kind of additional supporting documents which are not part of the supporting documents. Like for example, marriage certificate is not part of the supporting documents, but you need to upload it if you are uploading it with your spouse. So any kind of additional supporting documents you can find and upload. Then we saw that we need to upload the proof of payment of our fees depending on the number of people who are applying. A copy of the receipt you will save and upload. Then once you do the declaration, online declaration, and have uploaded all the documentation, submit your application button should be enabled and you should be able to submit this particular application for your PR. I hope this information was useful to you, and if you have any questions, reach out to me and we can surely discuss and help you out. Okay, and thank you so much.